Look, my hands are tied here. I'm just the guy in the box trying to do a job. It doesn't matter what comes out of my mouth. Half the world will applaud, the other half will vilify me. But honestly, I'm just a sidebar to the main event. Buckle up, folks, because what we are witnessing goes way beyond two athletes hitting a ball back and forth. We are talking pure, unadulterated vengeance and bad blood erupting under the global spotlight. So stay glued to your screens because this story packs more punch than a Hollywood thriller. Before we dissect Vukov's bombshell statement, we need to rewind the tape and understand exactly why the tension between these camps is absolutely toxic. Calling the history between Stefano Vukov and Aryna Sabalenka complicated is like saying a hurricane is a bit breezy. It doesn't even scratch the surface. Let's strip away the niceties. These two practically have a visceral hatred for each other. This bitter war began under the blistering sun at the Madrid Open. Sabalenka was deep in battle against Rybakina when she caught Vukov shouting instructions from the player's box during the downtime. While sideline coaching is technically within the rules now during breaks, Aryna wasn't having any of it. Sitting on a comfortable lead, she felt confident enough to spin around and unleash her fury directly at him. Trust me, she didn't hold back a single syllable. She let him know exactly what she thought of his behavior, and his presence sparking an intense confrontation right there on the clay. The hostilities didn't end with a changeover. Whispers circulating suggest she actually demanded security remove him from the arena. She wanted him exiled, but Vukov dug his heels in and wasn't going anywhere. He didn't apologize, and more importantly, he stored that moment of disrespect in the back of his mind as fuel. Ever since that incident, the atmosphere turns electric with animosity whenever these two camps meet. Vukov chose silence, ignoring the noise and refusing to engage in a media circus, preferring to let his player's performance deliver his rebuttal. Fast forward to the championship match in Melbourne, where fate decided it was time to balance the ledger. Rybakina against Sabalenka, a collision course for the most coveted trophy in the sport. Sensing the moment, Vukov watched as Rybakina exploded onto the court with terrifying intensity. She dominated the first set, relentlessly suffocating Sabalenka before she could even find her rhythm. Her serves were absolute cannonballs, rocketing over the net and drawing audible gasps from the spectators. Every return was a sniper shot, keeping her opponent pinned helplessly against the back wall. Her movement was precise, predatory, and unforgiving. After Rybakina claimed the opener, Sabalenka tapped into her fighting spirit, clawing her way back to even the score in the second. However, the third set is where heroes are born, and this specific decider wrote itself into the history books. The story took a wild turn as Sabalenka raced ahead to a commanding 3-0 advantage. 3 games to nothing. She looked unstoppable, and 99% of athletes would have crumbled under that pressure in a major final. Elena Rybakina, however, is a different breed, especially with Vukov backing her play. That was the instant she showed her steel, no panic, no fear. She didn't try to be a hero or lose her composure. She just locked in, raised her level, and chipped away at the deficit point by point until she was back in the fight. It was a clinic on psychological resilience and tactical firepower delivered right at the critical moment. She broke Sabalenka's serve, withstood the heat, and turned the tables completely. When she closed it out, 6-4, there was no question who ruled the arena. An epic comeback secured the silverware. And for Stefano Vukov, sweet vindication. But this is where the story gets really juicy. Vukov finally opened up about the feud, the Madrid incident, and his true feelings on Sabalenka. He basically said, "Go ahead and despise me, that is your choice. I know Sabalenka isn't cheering for me, but I have a mission here, and I'm nailing it." The scoreboard doesn't lie. His only goal is crafting wins for Rybakina, and he's doing exactly that on the global platform. He confessed, "I'm just the coach. My influence ends at the sideline. Whatever I say will split opinion down the middle, but ultimately, I'm just a supporting actor in this show." Vukov, however, wasn't about to let this slide, making it crystal clear that snatching the Melbourne title was about way more than just adding hardware to the shelf. This was a grudge match, pure and simple. It served as the ultimate mic drop in response to the disrespect Sabalenka had hurled his way. Ever since their explosive fallout in Madrid, he has given her the silent treatment. Total radio silence. But now, with Rybakina hoisting the grand prize, he is finally taking the gloves off to expose the ugly truth behind their feud. Vukov claims it was actually Sabalenka who lit the match back in the day, acting as the mastermind behind the push to get him booted from the tour. She was the one dishing out the toxicity. Fast forward to now, and he just guided Rybakina to dismantle that exact nemesis on the world's biggest stage. Talk about sweet revenge. You would think after such a shocking flip of the script, Sabalenka might show a little class and nod to the winner. Right? Wrong. Instead of praising Rybakina's stellar performance, Sabalenka retreated into what Vukov calls her tired old routine. We got the tears, the excuses, and the deflection. Look, I get it, falling short in a major final is gut-wrenching. Blowing a 3-game lead in the deciding set is an absolute nightmare, but there is a way to lose with your dignity intact. The real issue with her reaction, as Vukov points out, is her obsession with throwing herself a pity party. She is mourning her own mistakes, obsessing over the shots she fluffed and the opportunities she let slip away. But she refuses to offer any sincere credit to the opponent who looked her in the eye and outplayed her when it mattered most. As she tells it, she had her chances and just feels like she whiffed on a couple of swings. But hey, that is sports. One day you lose, the next you win. She just hopes she stacks up more victories than defeats this season. After walking around like she owned the place, all tournament Sabalenka suddenly seems incapable of giving Rybakina her rightful props after the loss. That specific attitude is exactly what is driving Vukov up the wall. And honestly, who can blame the guy? We need to face the cold hard facts here. Rybakina didn't just stand there waiting for a meltdown. She took charge and forced the issue herself. It was a perfect storm of power precision, mental steel, and tactical brilliance, right when the pressure was at its peak. She executed her game plan flawlessly, tweaking her approach exactly when the moment demanded it. Keeping her cool while down 3-love, she stepped up to snatch the crown. That isn't luck, and it certainly isn't a choke job. That is world-class dominance from a true champion. And Coach Vukov isn't holding back on the reality of the situation. It doesn't matter what trash Sabalenka talks about his squad, they won't stop until they are holding the gold. They proved that point loud and clear in this showdown. So listen up, folks, this wasn't just two giants battling down under. It was a saga of vindication demanding respect and bearing the hatchet once and for all. Vukov waited for his window, and when it opened, he and Rybakina struck with stunning impact. What is your take on this heated rivalry? Was Vukov right to put her on blast? Should Sabalenka have handled her loss with a bit more grace? Let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button and subscribe for your daily dose of tennis drama. Catch you next time.